My name is Thomas, and I'm going to be showing you a presentation that I delivered to the Neuro group in Merthyr, all about my brain injury and my recovery. I hope you enjoy. For as long as I can remember, illness has been part of my life. I can't recall a time when I wasn't unwell. It's like fear and pain have been intertwined with my very existence from the moment that I was old enough to understand. From the age of 3, I battled with symptoms that no one could ever explain. Pain, confusion, and a constant strain of uncertainty. No doctor could give me answers, they only gave me more questions. And this is where my journey began. I had my brain injury in 2003, at the age of 9, and I spent 4 weeks in paediatric intensive care, and was then transferred to Great Ormond Street Hospital. And even now, years later, the ripples of that trauma still continue to shape my world. But it's not just my story, it's the story of anyone that's ever felt broken. Of anyone who's ever had to fight to feel normal, when the world around them was anything but. My presentation focuses on my brain injury, but I've tried to focus on things that bind us together, such as isolation and mental health. At 9 years old, on the evening of January the 18th, I found myself sinking. My body just giving away. I'll never forget that moment. My parents were frantic and desperate and rushed me straight to the hospital. My father drove with urgency down the A470, and when the scans came back, the news was devastating. I'd had a brain hemorrhage and the doctors said the survival was unlikely. The chances were slim and my life hung on by a thread. I spent 4 weeks in paediatric intensive care with my parents by my side, holding on to hope and holding on to the belief that somehow, some way, I would be okay. I don't remember much about that time, but I can remember having physio, with the physiotherapist trying to get phlegm off my chest, and I can remember listening to stereophonics and watching the laptop in between blackouts. But what no one could have prepared me for was the aftermath, the long and painful road ahead. Everything I once took for granted, the smallest thing like walking, speaking, and eating was ripped away from me. Every basic human function became a monumental challenge. It was as if I had to learn to live all over again, from scratch, as if everything had been erased, only to start over with a body and mind that no longer recognized themselves. And yet, step by step, breath by breath, I fought my way back. Because that's what life is. It's not the absence of hardship, but the courage to rise anyway. And I discovered a strength I didn't know I had, and a will that refused to be broken. I learned that sometimes the greatest victories don't come from what we achieve, but from what we overcome. And I am not defined by what happened to me, but by what I choose to do next. I spent 8 weeks in Great Ormond Street Hospital trying to rehabilitate, and at that time hospital had become my new home, and I can remember the lengthy physiotherapy appointments. For me, the after effects of the brain hemorrhage were catastrophic, and doctors told me that I'd never walk again, coupled with the fact that I was also dealing with an undiagnosed primary immune deficiency at the time. My recovery and motivation was especially difficult. In terms of how it affected me, I was effectively paralysed on the left side, but now I have left-sided hemiplegia all down the left side, which means to me now that I have limited movement in my wrist and my fingers. I lost the ability to talk, and I had to have speech and language therapy, and firstly my voice came back like a whisper, and then a high-pitched Mickey Mouse voice. I'm also visually impaired to the left. I had to learn to eat again, and the way I did this was by eating skips and letting them dissolve on my tongue, and then yogurt because it's softer. Walking was especially difficult for me, and these are pictures of me learning to stand for the first time. And I can remember walking with bars and being put on a tilt bed, and then I started to walk for a while with a frame. A brain hemorrhage changed everything in my life. In a single moment, the person I thought I was had disappeared. I lost a piece of myself I didn't know could be taken away. My strength, my certainty, and even my sense of identity. For a while I felt broken. I felt like a stranger in my own body. I often had to miss school for physio or hospital appointments, but slowly, step by step, and with the help of physiotherapists, I've been learning how to rebuild. And each day isn't just about healing my body, it's about rediscovering who I am. Not the person I was before, but the person I'm becoming now. And I had to do a lot of my own physio at home. Because I lost sensation in my left side, I had to put my hands in different temperatures of water and bowls of lentils and sand. But what I've learnt is this journey is hard and this journey is long, but it's also beautiful. Because piece by piece, I'm finding myself again. I am rebuilding myself one step at a time, and every step matters. Sometimes it felt like life was standing still, watching all my friends move on with their lives and watching life pass me by. Ill health has its way of isolating you, not just physically, but emotionally too. While the world moves forward, I'm left behind struggling to keep pace. The hardest part isn't the pain, the hardest part is the toll it takes on the heart. I want to do more, I want to be able to live more, but my body has limits that I can't push past. And the frustration builds, knowing that I'm capable in spirit, but being trapped inside a body that won't allow. And it feels so unfair to know that every bit of progress I've made, I've had to work twice as hard as everyone else, to fight battles that no one can see, just to reach the same point. Even the simplest thing like getting dressed or walking can feel overwhelming. The pain and exhaustion that I carry quietly is invisible to the outside world, and people don't see the cost behind each small action. And because they can't see it, I was often misread or misunderstood as being lazy or withdrawn, when in truth, I was just unwell. And there's loneliness in that kind of misunderstanding, a longing to be seen. And I didn't have many friends in school. I would watch them all go out, but being unable to join in, either because I was too unwell or in hospital. And this is the unfair reality of ill health, the isolation, the frustration, and the invisible battles. But by speaking it out loud, I remind myself that my story matters, even if the world rushes on without me. Struggle has its way of breaking us down, but it also has a way of revealing strength that we never knew we had. Every challenge and every setback, every moment that I thought I couldn't go on, those became the very moments that shaped me. And strength doesn't come on an easy path. It comes from walking through the fire and refusing to give up. It comes from waking up each day and choosing to keep going, even when it hurts and even when the weight feels unbearable. The physical struggles were one thing, but the mental and emotional battles were something completely different. There were days when I sat alone, feeling rejected and invisible. The depression, the emptiness, and the isolation, it all left me feeling hopeless, trapped inside a constant state of fear. I didn't know if I was going to make it through, or what tomorrow would bring. And yet, in all that darkness, there was still light. Somehow, even the smallest moments, a small victory, was the light that kept me going. It reminded me that healing isn't just about surviving, it's about finding strength in the struggle. But illness doesn't just happen to me, it happens to my family too. My sister, my mother, and my father, they carry the weight that often goes unseen. They have been my strength when I had none, my hope when I felt lost. And I know it hasn't been easy for them. The worry in their eyes and the exhaustion in their voices, the sacrifices they've made, it's a silent toll that illness demands from the ones we love most. And yet, through it all, they've stood by me. One thing that I wanted to do more than anything was to learn how to ride a bike again. At that time, I was so physically unwell that doctors told me that it wouldn't be possible, and that it would be especially difficult to get my left side to cooperate. But I refused to give up, and I tried countless methods until finally, my father designed a special pedal plate to secure my foot to the pedal, and we velcroed my left hand to the handlebar. And for about 3 years I rode like this, and slowly, with determination, I started riding without those adaptations, and now the only adaptation I have is 2 brakes on one handlebar. For me, cycling has been more than just a hobby, it's been my escape. In a world filled with hospital appointments and endless medical routines, cycling has become my freedom. It gave me the space to breathe and to feel alive and to manage my emotions when all I wanted to do was give up. The freedom of being outside with the wind in your face is unlike anything else. Cycling didn't just teach me how to ride again, it reminded me how to live. Although my health constantly stood in my way, I still managed to complete both my undergraduate and master's degrees, an achievement that came hand in hand with countless hospital appointments and endless days of pain and uncertainty. After my brain hemorrhage, my life changed forever, but my determination to succeed in my studies became more than an ambition. It became my way to prove to myself that I was still capable, and I was still myself. While others at university laughed and celebrated and embraced the freedom of student life, I often found myself confined to a hospital bed, watching the world move on without me. My reality was not filled with parties or carefree days. It was filled with fatigue, pain, and the struggles of hospital appointments, and the battles to keep going when my body begged me to stop. There were many moments when I doubted myself, when I thought I would never make it, but through every setback and every tear, and every sleepless night, I held on to one thing: determination. And somehow, through sheer perseverance and faith, I did it. I succeeded. Several years ago, I worked in disability sport Merthyr. One of the things I wanted to do when I was there was set up Active Wheels, an all-inclusive social cycling group for people of all abilities, because I understand the benefits of cycling and I want to share that with other people. With what started as a one-to-one ride, we now have 90 members on our WhatsApp group. If you or someone you know wants to get into inclusive social cycling, it doesn't matter what your ability or how experienced you are, you're always welcome on our rides. Recovery after a brain hemorrhage can feel like climbing a mountain barefoot. Every step is painful and uncertain, but as long as we have each other, we can keep climbing.